Because the guy's great. He's great. When he talks, he's out there. And he's an American patriot. He's an American patriot. So when we talk about patriotism, how do we fight as patriots today? We fight at the voting booth. We fight in our schools. You know, in the military, when you're a young officer or sergeant, corporal, private, you know, we almost demand those individuals to demonstrate physical courage, to be fearless, demonstrate physical courage. Why? We want them to do it on the physical exercise field. We want them to do it in the very physical, demanding extremes that we put them through on training, because we want them to demonstrate physical courage in the face of all odds on the battlefield. The more senior that you get, and I learned this, but actually I completely believe the opposite now for our younger generation. And it's the older you get in the military, we sort of begin to change that physical courage to what I call intellectual courage. And intellectual courage actually takes more bravery at times. Because to be intellectually courageous, and this is for you, this is really for this foundation, this is for the young people in this room, you are demonstrating a level of intellectual courage that our country desperately needs. So for this election, for this particular election, I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be humble, because I think that's a characteristic of the American, of the American patriot, is humility in the face of odds, right? A good winner, not a sore loser. But we don't have to be polite. In fact, we have to stop being polite for our principles. We have to stop being polite for our values. We have to stop being polite for what we stand for. We have to stop apologizing for who we are and what we believe. We cannot have that anymore. And that's you. So I'm looking and I'm trying to pierce through the lights that are in my eyes here and looking at the young people. I'll tell you two things that I learned from my parents. Both of them are deceased now. My father was a World War II and Korea veteran. My mom, wonderful, wonderful lady. She just died a year ago, a little over a year ago now. One of 9 kids from a very small town up in Rhode Island, the state of Rhode Island. And they taught us all two things. The thing that my father taught me was to treat the golden rule. The golden rule was what existed in our home. Treat others like you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. Treat others like you want to be treated. And if you do that, if you go through life, it's the old adage, by the time you're 10 years old, you've learned to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, please. All those little things, if you just use those words routinely, you will be highly successful in life with a few other traits that are brought out as you get older. But treat others like you like to be treated. And that's what he taught us. The thing that my mother taught us, because my mother was an educator. She got her law degree at the age of 69 years old. I mean, phenomenal. And that's after having 9 children and moving around and all the kinds of things that you do. Because she was passionate about learning. And the idea, the notion to be a lifelong learner. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. Go to every single thing. Look, read, travel, pay close attention to what you're doing. I mean, I joke about this sometimes, and I say, because of my own sort of upbringing and my own, the fighting, as I'm in the middle of those 9, fighting for a position, right? Fighting for a position. I'm the ultimate kind I could compromise. I could compromise somebody out of a pair of socks, So what I'm saying to you is that you have to think about what is it that you plan on doing in your life. And you'll find that there's a path out there that will have many, many exits. And you have to decide, do you stay on that course? And what is that course? Is that course something that is inherently part of your being? Is it you and your principles, you and your values, what your belief systems are? Because they will change. And there'll also be other life changes. Also be, many other life changes.